Wow. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program for April 29th, 2025. We did it. We made it all the way to here. And isn't that wonderful? You made it all the way to here. How are you doing this morning? How are you feeling? Let's check in with ourselves. Let's check in with our bodies. Let's check in with our minds. Let's check in with the energy we have in our souls and our flesh sacks. We are just energy sacks in this world at all times. Gene, how are you today, Gene? Okay, Gene immediately hitting us with a recommendation today. We're so grateful for that, Gene. Gene is immediately saying, a recommendation did nothing wrong. Okay, Gene, what does that mean? Nobody knows, but we can't wait to see on the screen what it means to know what Gene is talking about. Wonderful to see you, Gene. It's wonderful to see you, Jason. If you are here in the Twitch, we would love to have you join us and talk to us and tell us what's going on. We can't see anything in this program we got in front of us. Also, keep tapping that heart thing on there so we can let the people know what's going on. We are so grateful to be with you today. It's so wonderful to be together in a time where the world is so crazy. We're not sure what's going on. It's so nice to spend time together every morning with all of you. And so how could you tell someone right now that you are watching the Rev Deuce program, the Mega Church of Joy, helping you to embrace fear and to fight disinformation at the same time, because we are absolutely ski-rood in this world if we do not figure out how to fight the disinformation and how to connect as humans. Now, if you are watching on Substack or YouTube, we do want to encourage people to watch on Twitch and get active in the chat on Twitch. It's not really that hard to do. So if you wanted to help out Rev Deuce, you could start to get active as a viewer on Twitch. That is because I need to average 3 members, 3 people, 3 viewers at all times in Twitch in order to become an affiliate, whatever that means. So we are so grateful to have everyone coming in. This is the morning announcements portion, I guess. And then we'll just get started with a little bit of some religion, the secular religion. I got a note yesterday. I got a note yesterday from listener, viewer, supporter on Substack, Ann B. And Ann B told me that she did not like the religiosity. And that's okay, Ann B. I'm calling you out a little bit, but I hope that's okay. And I said, Ann B, but that's our deal. And Ann B said, well, maybe do something else. And I said, Ann B, I'm so sorry. I love your energy. We accept the ideas of other people in here because we know that in order to improve society, we have to listen and accept the ideas of others. But I said, Ann B, I'm sorry, but I cannot. I said, Ann B, I gotta say no, even as much as I want to say yes. And so what I'm doing is I'm talking about it. I'm talking about it in case the community has anything else that they want to say about it. So, Gene, we checked out the Contrarian, and they say that they are covering the democracy movement. We're going to ask everybody later about the next video that they want Rev Deuce to produce today, because I've got 3 ideas. I've actually got several ideas, but I want everyone to check in with Rev Deuce, and I want you to hit those hearts, and I want you to support and follow and spread any way you can. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you some other ways that you can help out your friend Rev Deuce. Michaela has just arrived on the porch for church. Michaela, welcome. What a beautiful morning. I hope it's beautiful there in Jacksonville. I'm sure it's 95 million degrees already. So let's get started, shall we? For Todd so hated the world that he made sure to fuck us all up and keep everyone from achieving their dreams. Yes, and. Now we say yes and here in the Mega Church of Joy because we know it is better to agree and to add in conversation than it is to say no and to deflect. We know that it is better to give our energy openly to people if it's possible to do. We know that it is better to support than to judge. We know that it is better to give than to take. We know that it is better to connect than to block. We know that it is better to commit than to flake. And so that is what we do here. Yes, and thank you, Rev, for always thinking of us. Of course, I am Bill M. Welcome into the program. We are just getting started. What will happen today, Bill M., is we will talk about the news. We will talk about your sources of news. We will talk about the history of news and our information ecosystem in this world, and we're going to have so much friggin' fun doing it. And we are also going to talk to people about their fears. So, Gilda Johnson, oaths matter. Do you have something that you are afraid of that you would like to share with everyone? And I will pass it on to the other people who are speaking and joining with us across the platforms today. And we encourage you, if you are on Twitch, to get active in the chat. And we encourage you on Substack to get active in the chat. I want to hear from you. I love you. Do you need to be told that you are loved today? Do you need to be listened to today? I will listen to you, and so will everyone else in the tub, because we are a community of support and love. And so we will start off today. Demolition of civic rights. Gilda Johnson is scared about the demolition of civic rights. And so we say, Gilda Johnson, we love you and we hear you and we are grateful for your fear. We say, Gilda Johnson, we are so grateful to hear your fear, and we are so appreciative of you. We say, and Gilda Johnson, want to support you, and so we say, yes, we hear your fear, and we love you. We say, yes, we hear your fear, Gilda Johnson, and we are grateful for you, and that you are with us to have your fear in the first place. And so we would ask you quietly at your home to say to yourself, these are my fears and I embrace them, because we know in the Mega Church of Joy, fear is our God. And when we embrace fear, we know we are that much closer to joy. We are that much closer to joy whenever we embrace fear, because when we embrace fear, we lessen his power over us, his power to restrict us, his power to restrict our personalities and our energy and our desire once we are born into this world to connect with other human beings. That's right. The moment we are born into this world, we want to connect so badly with others. And then fear's program, Todd, the God of fear, his program of violence, persecution, bigotry, domination, and judgment and shame and inadequacy is passed on to all of us. And so we welcome in the bathrobe guy, because there's no better way to be than a bathrobe. And a bathrobe guy is always ready to get into a hot tub. And so we are grateful for you, bathrobe guy, in the Substack, beaming live from Boca Raton, where it is always 69. And so we are going to get into the news and our media diets later, but first we talk about our fears. And so we are grateful for Gilda Johnson. If anyone wants to call in and talk about their fears with Deuce, I've got your back. I support you. You are a rock star. I love you even though we are strangers, because the only way to achieve joy in this world is to connect. And so I want to connect with you. And if you want to connect with me, I want to put 5 minutes on the clock and connect with you. If you want to call in, you see the number on your screen. Bathrobe guy, welcome. Bathrobes guy's got great energy, and we know that it is important to be mindful of our energy at all times, just as the improviser on the comedy stage is open with their energy, open to receiving, open to giving. On the stage of life, we are all improvisers, making it up as we go along. And so what will you do with your energy today? Kirby Sharon, welcome into the space. This is a space of love and support, of kindness, and of fact-based information that aligns with small d democracy, because we know that the scared little boys, the giant dickheads who tune the algorithms to manipulate us on social media and tune the headlines to divide us and pacify us in legacy media, will never stop. They will never be abated. And so we must share facts every single time we are online. Steve Bannon and other fascists want to flood the zone with shit. Well, I am telling you today we will be fact warriors and we will flood the zone with facts. We'll also have a lot of fun making up some songs as we go along. Bathrobe Guy has great energy, and it is because he's a bathrobe guy. He said, my energy is contagious, LOL. And we love a laugh out loud. We love that so much. And so let's all read the Daily Dose. The Daily Dose is what we read here to get on the same page with life. We read the Daily Dose so that we can be in charge of our energy throughout the day. We read the Daily Dose as a meditation on how our day will go. And how will your day go today? Will you reach out to people? Will you love people? Will you tell someone you haven't said it to in a long time that you love them? Or maybe a new person in a consensual way that isn't like, the brand new hire at work. Don't do that. David asks in the chat, why is Todd the God of fear and just God? Are there multiple? Is there a God of love? Do you need more mind-altering substances for the answer? My answer to you, David, as we figure this religion out as we go along is no. We do not need more mind-altering substances for the answer. The God of love is each of us. Every single one of us is our own God of love because we are nothing more than the sun's energy vibrating on our own frequency. And when we meet another human being, love is the attempt to dial in to their frequency. Love is the attempt to meet people where they are in this world and give them energy of support. So we do not need any other gods except for Todd, the God of fear, because we recognize that our relationship with fear begets a relationship with others in love. If we have a relationship with fear, when fears enter our mind, we use them as a tool, as a stepping stone to realize, well, we have an incoming call, so let's see what it is. This is exciting. We love incoming calls. We love Jason Dyer's energy. Don't want to miss it. Let me pick it up. Hello, how are you? You are on the line with Rev Deuce in the Tub of Joy.
Hi, Deuce. It's Madison.
Hey, Madison.
I have a fear to share, but I have to warn you that it's not a positive fear.
Well, I don't know too many fears that are positive, so unless it's a fear of eating too much cake. So, Madison, we would love to hear your fear. First, I just want to reach across the internet, and maybe you all can do it at home if you want to. That would be so great and so loving and so supportive, because we're just practicing how loving and supportive we can be at all times, because we are our own gods of love, as David prompted us to realize today. So I'm reaching across the internet, Madison, and I'm saying, I got your back.
Oh, you know I have your back.
Hell yeah, I do. Okay, so please share your fear, and I know everyone across Substack and Twitch and YouTube will support you.
So I've just been having a hard time lately because it feels extremely scary that, like, everything is, they're doing so much, right? They're doing so much,
yeah.
And it seems like every day it's getting harder and harder. Like, it's going to be so much harder to fix all of this shit. It's going to take so long to fix all of this.
Yeah.
That it feels, it's just getting hopeless. Like, I'm starting to feel so hopeless about all of it. Like, I'm afraid that we're literally looking down the road at, like, literal dictatorship and starvation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to combat that.
I hear you, Madison, I hear you, and I'm so grateful for you, and I think everyone else is grateful. Barrett Colmback and Stacy Vorn are grateful. The Bathrobe Guy is grateful. Jason Dyer is grateful. Mockingbird is grateful. Lemon Raccoon is grateful. We are all so grateful that you would call in and you would share what you're going through. Bathrobe Guy says, anxiety often comes from fictional scenarios that your mind tells you and you believe, don't believe. Okay, Bathroom Guy, new energy for Bathroom Guy. Bathroom Guy, we're going to talk about that in a second, but first we all want to say, Madison, we hear your fear and we love you. Madison, we hear your fear and we support you. Madison, we hear your fear and we are grateful that you shared it with us. Would you be so willing as to say, these are my fears and I embrace them?
Yeah, of course. These are my fears and I embrace them. And I appreciate what Bathrobe Guy said, because I do believe that is true a lot of the time. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of my anxiety is coming from many videos I'm seeing where it's like, I'm an economist and this is a garbage can on fire that we're living on, and it's going to be even worse. Or like, I am a scientist, and millions of American children are going to die because of this thing that's happening right now that can't get any better. So it's like, damn, these experts kind of be saying some scary shit.
These experts do be saying some scary shit. We want to welcome in all the new people and say we are talking to Madison about her fear. We are supporting Madison in her fear because all of our fears are all of our fears. We all have them co-equally together in this world because we are all connected. And so when society and the world is out of balance, that is the time when we must connect and support the fears of others and lift them up. Because yes, Bathrobe Guy, oftentimes they are fictional scenarios that create anxiety, but that anxiety is born of real world things that are happening and causing us to worry, causing us to be afraid. And when we are afraid, we know it is time to use the tools of energy, support, commitment, giving, connection, and gratitude. To be grateful in every moment in life is to have a way of being that encounters fear and is grateful for those fears, that encounters anxiety and is grateful for the simple fact of being alive to even experience that anxiety in the first place. A difficult concept to broach, but that is what we are doing here. And Madison, you are correct. Madison, it's not just the scientists. It's not just some certain experts. It's also the political scientists. In the New York Times, they had a big, expansive thing. They interviewed 35 political scientists, esteemed, and also some right-wing funded political scientists. That's just how the New York Times does it. But they all were concerned. And one of them specifically said, the thing about destroying the democracy and democratic function is it's very hard to claw it back. And so the thing is that yes, it is very, very scary. Now, do we think that it will get into something that is much more violent, much more desperate? It's possible, absolutely. But the one thing that we have right now is community, and the one thing that we have right now is this moment. And I'm so sorry I said but. And the one thing we have right now, yes, your fears are valid and we are supporting you. And the one thing we have right now is this moment where we are together. And so I will say in this moment with so much joy in my heart that I love you, Madison. And I'm so grateful for you. And so that doesn't mean that there's anything that's going to be done about your fears, but we like to express gratitude and support and commitment and connection and energy and love. And so thank you.
Thank you, Rev. I really appreciate your words and the ease that having this specific community and everybody who hops in and is always so supportive has been incredibly helpful. So thank you. I'm going to hop off. That's my time, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Madison. Madison said that's my time, as if she was a stand-up comedian and I was giving her the light at the back of the theater. I love that. Madison. Jason Dyer says it's absolutely terrifying. However, these people are grossly incompetent. Educated minds will prevail. So that is something from Jason Dyer, meant to support and to lift you up. Bathrobe Guy says, you are seen and heard, Madison. And so, yes, it is a beautiful community of support and love that we are building. And we want that to be the energy that we all give to everyone when we leave this space at the end of this program every day. And so we will now say the Daily Dose. The Daily Dose is what gets us ready to live this way every day. The Daily Dose is what gets us ready to push back against these programs of fear, these patterns that fear creates for us, these ruts that fear keeps us in, containing our energy that says, do the thing, live and speak according to our authentic selves. And so we want to lift everyone up today and allow people the opportunity to lift others up as we all say the Daily Dose together. The Daily Dose, of course, for those who are uninitiated, lives in the companion section of our Discord. You could go join our Discord following the Linktree link on Substack and wherever Linktree links are found. Yes, and it's called Public Alignment. It's Linktree Public Alignment. So the Daily Dose. Self, today I endeavor to be a better teammate than yesterday. I vow to keep it simple, to listen better, to commit harder, and to give more expertly. It is my joyous burden to make those around me appear as rock stars and support the ideas of others. I will move past obstructions, drop insecurities, and put trust in myself and others. I will attempt to emotionally connect with whomever I meet. I say this in the spirit of best intentions. Yes, and. We are so grateful for all of you, especially the new viewers on Substack. We would love for you to tap that heart button on the Substack screen, because that is what the billionaires who own the means of communication have turned us into. Little maniacs out of a Black Mirror episode. So let's all get into the groove of this new world order as we deal with the revolution of information technology that is the internet. Let's remind ourselves that the Gutenberg Press revolutionized and disrupted Europe and the world for hundreds of years, leading to all sorts of cataclysmic things, but also leading to the Enlightenment, also leading to a new world order. A world order that brought more peace and prosperity to more people, even as it also brought immediate upheaval and disruption. It also brought fringe ideas to the fore, right? There was a movable type, and all of a sudden fringe ideas could be disseminated. And so it changed the world, and so we are experiencing that now. And as Madison expressed, it is a scary time, but we have each other. Sorry, it is a scary time, and we have each other. And so I love you and you love me. We are going to move on with today's program and start talking about the news and how you can be fact warriors. We are going to give you actions to take. And in so doing, you will become a stronger fact warrior. You will flood the zone with facts in the face of the fascists who want to divide us and flood the zone with shit. How do we deal with our anxiety about the world, our fears about this fascist uprising? Well, we push back with facts and information. We lift all information boats. We are fact warriors, yes and. So let's sing a hymn and move on to the news portion of the program. So for everybody who's new here, we improvise songs based on the suggestion of a culture war bullshit topic that is created in the right-wing think tanks by the psychological arms dealers of the right-wing think tanks. Yes, and okay, we got there. So Bathrobe Guy, we'd love it if you gave the suggestion of a right-wing bullshit culture war talking point that is generated by the Christopher Rufos of the world, that is generated by the Barry Weisses of the world, that is generated by these millionaire hacks who are scared themselves. We try not to be pejorative here, but they are dickheads, and the number one rule is don't be a dick. So they literally make money from billionaires by pitching them ideas for anti-woke organizations. And you can read our piece about Barry Weiss here on publicenlightenment.com, and you can spread that so that more people can be aware of what is happening. Now, Lemon Raccoon, Mockingbird, Real Madison, Meat Money, We love you. Thank you for the follow, Meat Money. If all of you could get on your own devices and just mute, but then be in the space on Twitch, that would be a real help to your pal, Rev Deuce. So Bathrobe Guy says global warming is much more impacted by humans than it actually is. Bathrobe Guy, what do you mean? I think that you mean that there is fossil fuel propaganda that says that if we like just recycle, that it's going to be okay. Is that what you mean? We got to take, it's Bathrobe Guy's idea, and we have to support it. Okay, so Bathrobe, so what do they say? What's like the most, like what would Matt Gaetz say about that? Help me out just a little bit more. So what would Matt Gaetz say about that? What could be like the chorus, you know? Just like, we can't regulate large companies' emissions. It's up to individuals. Okay, that's interesting. Meat Money is all like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. There's just some guy over there, you know, in a tub in Boca Raton. Now, the thing is I'm trying to be better at being like addictive. So how can I make this addictive to you? Can you all buy misters and I can push a button and it sprays nicotine into your home, right into your face. And then you become addicted to Rev Deuce. And of course, when we talk about addiction, we have to talk about giving me all of your money. I am grifting you. Have we added to global warming? Yes. Is it as bad as they say? No. Oh, interesting. Bathrobe Guy. Interesting. So Bathrobe Guy, you, it sounds like your idea is that you do not think that humans have contributed to global warming. So you're saying that Bathrobe Guy, do you want to call into the show? You want to call into the show? What do you think? Because I'd like to talk to you about that. And I'd like to talk to you about your media diet with love and joy and support in my heart and hopefully in your heart too. So we would love for you to call into the show, Bathrobe Guy. That would be so exciting. And we're just wondering if you would. And so we're just going to sit here. None of your information will be shared. We just want to know if you would want to call into the show and talk to us about how you feel about global warming. Okay, great. Bathrobe Guy is going to call into the show. While we wait for Bathrobe Guy to call into the show, we want to remind everybody that this show is sponsored by Grass Milk Soar. And we also want to remind everyone that at all times they are in an information war. And are you, in fact, imbibing information light that is pacifying you and keeping you from taking on the fascist rise? Or are you sexy and are you all about information tight? Oh, yeah, baby. And then just because we love playing these, what about Elon Musk? Is he doing okay? We don't think so. Elon Musk needs help. He's a scared little boy. And we actually will be going on to Twitter to... That's a good point. Nido. Have you heard of a Nido? A Nido. I like to have them in time. Have you heard of a Nido? Have you heard of a Nido? Okay, so Bathrobe Guy, the number is back on the screen. So sorry about that. We got excited to play all of our videos. I do not a Nido. Am I saying, are you tricking me into saying like butts or something? I don't know, Lemon Raccoon. Tom Renders, welcome in. We are about to receive a call from Bathrobe Guy. Hello, Bathrobe Guy. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm so very good. I'm so grateful to be with you today. I love you. And I'm going to reach across the internet and I'm going to say, I got your back.
Thanks, man. I got yours too. I'm loving this. Your energy is incredible, man. I love it.
Hell yeah, that makes me feel so good. So Bathrobe Guy, are you in a bathrobe right now?
I certainly am.
Yes. Do you do anything? Are you basically the dude from The Big Lebowski?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, it's kind of my pen name. One of my friends labeled me with it a while back, and it kind of just stuck. So I'm the
Hell
bathrobe guy.
yeah. All right. We love that. So, bathrobe guy, I was a little confused at first, and so maybe you could help me out. So, this is a place where, look, like we accept everyone's ideas and we try to seek agreement across all ideas. I mean, it's coming into my friggin' hot tub by the sea. Anyway,
Right.
so I hear you
Right.
saying
No, and
that.
I agree with that. I mean, what I'm saying is this: have humans added to global warming? Absolutely. Fossil fuels. I mean, and there's all plenty. The statistics are there. It's plain to see. Have we added? Have we caused it? Absolutely not. We live 93 million miles from a star that heats our planet up to 130 degrees in places. We have 2 ice caps, and they're just gonna melt. If you take an ice cube out of the freezer and set it on the counter, it melts. So, I mean, this is just a natural thing that's happening to the planet. Ice melts. The caps are going to melt over time. Have we increased that a bit? Yeah, absolutely. Has our impact on it been as drastic as they're trying to say it has? Absolutely not.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for those thoughts. So, can I ask you, bathrobe guy, what is your media diet?
Oh man, everything. I'm everywhere. I watch the news. I read avidly everything I can get my hands on. My ex-wife used to say I was not happy unless I had 5 books in front of me. One had to be upside down and 3 pads of paper and a pencil. So
That's incredible. Okay, but so like when you go to read the news every day, what is the process? What happens?
I'm kind of random about it. Like I don't. It's just turn on the TV and I start skimming and CNN a lot, just because I don't know, it's easier for me to digest at times. But I don't know. I bump around. Mostly it's just reading real scientific literature that tells us what's really going on. I mean, the media wants to put out all kinds of stuff, but I mean, there's real papers out there that talk about what's going on, and all we have to do is read them.
Okay, so my understanding, and it's just my understanding, and so I want to hear your understanding. My understanding is that the majority of climate scientists say that humans have caused this outsized rise in our global temperature. But I hear you saying that humans have not caused this outsized rise in global temperature. So I just also heard you say, and I'm so grateful for what you're saying, I also heard you say that that there are specific scientific papers or periodicals that you can go to where you can read about your view and have the support of your view that it is not human caused. So what are those places?
I mean, you could seriously just go in and Google actual human impact on global warming, and there's tons of information. I mean, just look at both sides. The problem is we're in such a panic mode right now that when we do search things like that, we tend to just go to the dark sides of everything. You know, we look at all the bad stuff that comes up rather than we don't look at both sides all the time. And and I'm not saying we haven't had an impact. We have, definitely, for sure.
Sure, totally. But so what is that?
We need to stop. We definitely need to stop.
Right on. So what does that mean to you when you talk about both sides? I'm just pulling up. What does that mean to you when you talk about both sides? Like that we should be looking at like all types of media sources?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we always need to approach everything with logic. We always need to ask deeper questions. We can't just always take things as bare fact. We have to test things, try things, and make sure that they're true. I mean, I literally, the reason I'm called Bathrobe Guy is I literally just spent 6 weeks and developed a unification theory of physics in my bedroom, in my bathroom, because I asked deeper questions.
That's cool.
It's literally in for peer review. So it's, we have to ask questions. If we stopped asking questions about physics, and we sat for 100 years trying to solve a unification problem by patching a roof with paper instead of just replacing the roof. And that's kind of where we're at with our learning and our digesting information on the internet. We've got to look at both sides. We've got to ask the deeper questions. We can't just always take what somebody says at face value.
Absolutely. We agree with you here. So one thing that's interesting to me, though, is when we talk about climate change, this is my understanding, and I'm happy to be hearing your understanding. So when we learn about climate change, global warming, and we hear it being talked about, when you say both sides, my understanding is that there's not really, in terms of the scientists who are climatologists and that kind of a thing, is that there isn't necessarily like a both sides in terms of, there's maybe like even a 60-40 split or, even a 70-30 split. My understanding is that it's something, closer to like maybe 95% of climate scientists believe one thing, and then maybe 5% or less of climate scientists believe another thing. And so for me, just for me, when I question things, because I agree that we should be questioning things, and when I question things, I think about, well, if there's such an overwhelming, right? Because I don't think that someone who becomes a scientist and then says, I like to study this science stuff and this climate stuff, I don't think that they do that because they want to like grow up to, not get it right or to manipulate people. But I do think that when there's such a small number of people who say something in the opposition, that they may be getting funded or being supported by, large corporations, fossil fuel corporations that want to find ways. We know that, for instance, with tobacco and with climate, that major corporations who are making all of the profit off of those harmful things that they have done for years and years. We know that Exxon, for instance, ran studies in the late 70s, early 80s that showed that we would impact global warming with our fossil fuel usage, and they suppressed that information and they used that information to lobby further and harder and create more of a disinformation or propaganda landscape where they said, it's not going to be that big of a deal. How do you feel about that?
Well, trusting conglomerates like that is difficult for me. So there is an overwhelming majority that would say that this is going on. And I mean, evidence is there, sure. But we have to remember that there's okay, first of all, our planet goes through these cycles as it is. We go through ice ages, and then it warms up, and this continues. I mean, we're in a cycle that is caused by warming and cooling of our planet due to its orbit around the sun, literally. So, I mean, this was inevitably going to happen anyway. We have definitely increased that. I mean, there's no doubt. There's all the evidence is there. I'm not saying that we haven't. What I'm saying is that the exponential growth of the warming due to the melting of the caps is something that's just going to happen anyway. So have we increased it? Yeah. Is it as bad? Have we increased it as bad as? I really don't see it. If you run the numbers, technically, I mean, should we have not? Yeah. Should we stop? Absolutely. We need to protect our. It's
right
the only
on.
one we have.
Right on. Totally. I agree. I agree. I think we should stop. We should figure out ways to, use more renewable energies, all of that stuff. And so we're definitely on the same page with that. And so I typed in while we were talking, and this is not, a bathrobe guy. This is not to like undermine you or attack you in any way, right? This whole program is just about getting fact-based information, and so that's why I'm so grateful to have you, here and saying what it is that you see about the world. So one thing I did, go ahead.
Part of that is that, I didn't call in so that I could just say that I know I'm right. I called in so that I could get, opinion. And
yo, hell yeah.
I'm open to changing my opinion and my beliefs, but
hell yeah.
I have to have solid founded, logical reasons to do those things.
We are so grateful for your beautiful open energy bathrobe guy. I guess that's what happens when you wear a bathrobe at all times. It just affects your brain and turns you everything's sunshine and roses when a bathrobe is being worn, even in the winter. It's just a warm, toasty way to be. And so we think that's beautiful because you're also always ready to get into a hot tub when you're in a bathrobe. It's just a very easy shrug of the shoulders and you just let it go. You know what I mean?
You can't really be too serious when a dude walks in a bathrobe.
No, you can't. I used to go to these shows. One of my favorite jam bands from when I was a kid, I would go to these reunion shows they would have in the 2000 aughts and the 2000 teens, and there was always a guy who showed up in a bathrobe to the shows, and I was like, I want to be that guy. Maybe it was you. I don't know.
No. I love it.
So I just want to say that I did type in while we were talking, I typed in what percentage of climate scientists agree. And it seems like over 97% of climate scientists
almost 99% on this one I'm seeing
do agree. So look, we can go and do whatever we want with this information, but I just wanted to pull that up because it seems as though, they agree. So that's all. I don't know. And these are a variety of sources, phys.org. And we could go and look at what, who owns all of these places. But we got Cornell, we got climate.gov if you don't trust the government or if you don't trust academia.
Where's that Cornell one? I want to look that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Let's do it, baby. This is Cornell. It says more than 99.9% of studies agree not humans are causing climate change. This is from October 19th, 2021. And, it starts out more than 99.9% of peer-reviewed scientific papers agree that climate change is mainly caused by humans, according to a new survey of 88,000 plus climate-related studies. So this is a massive effort to combine a bunch. What is that called when they just do a bunch of surveys and they analyze them? There's a word for it. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, I don't either.
But so here, what I'm gonna do for you, bathrobe guys, I'm gonna drop this into the chat of the Substack,
Thank you.
and then you can have that ready to go. I'm gonna drop this into the chat of the Discord. If you want to join our Discord and get into the Fact Warriors channel where we post all of the links that we share every day, we would be so grateful.
There's another one here that's climate intervention. What do we know? What do we do? What do we need to do that you might want to drop to for everybody?
Where is that at?
I can just drop it in the chat if you want me to.
Yeah, drop it in the chat. Hell yeah. This is beautiful. I love this so much. We are being fact warriors. It is the greatest friggin' thing. It's what I live to do. It's why I sit in a hot tub every single morning and beam across the internet. Excuse me.
Wow.
Contributing to climate change myself, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, oh God, why?
Okay, great. We got a link from Bathroom Guy in the Bathrobe Guy. I'm so sorry. Not a bathroom guy. That's kind of gross compared to a bathrobe guy. Okay, let me copy that, and I'm going to put that into the Discord as well. Okay, sweet. Well, hey, do you want to tell us your real name? You don't have to.
I'll give you my first name.
Okay.
It's on my side anyway.
Steve, Steve, I'm so grateful to talk to you, and I do not want to end our conversation, but I do want to move on with the program, and I'm so grateful that we just kind of had this like jam sesh about our ideas and about media and about climate change, and I'm so grateful for you and your energy, and I hope that you come back to the program.
Oh, I definitely will. Thanks, man. Like, thanks for the Cornell paper too. That I will definitely read that whole thing. That's a good one. I like it.
Hell yeah, beautiful, so beautiful. I love you, Steve, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. How will you tell someone you love them today? How will you lift people up today? How will you reach outside of your body and try to vibrate on a similar frequency with the energy of someone else and their body? Yes, and
I will always just love everybody.
yes, that's so beautiful.
Stay entangled, my friend.
Hell yeah. Okay, yes, and love you. Bye, Steve.
Peace out.
Peace out, Cub Scout. Well, that was a beautiful interaction. And so we just enjoyed talking to Steve and hearing what he had to say about the world. And it was very nice and peaceful. And isn't that so wonderful that we can figure out ways to talk and to, mildly disagree? I definitely found myself thinking, well, I have a different understanding of the world. And so, we just talked about it and it was very nice. There is so much of a destruction of nuance and the ability to have conversations in this world where when we go online and social media, it is just tuned. The algorithms are tuned to have us be arguing with each other and divided. And so it is so beautiful to come together and connect and be fact warriors, because at all times we are in an information war. So beautiful, so friggin' beautiful. So what we are going to do now, everyone, is get on to the news. We are going to not do a song right now because I just want to start getting into the news with Deuce, because it is 9:50. Unless everyone's like, no, do a song. But anyway, so let's get into the news with Deuce. First, we just want to share with everybody something that Deuce is excited about.
He came up with the
Deuce has released a new video. That's me, I'm Deuce, but I've released a new video, so I want you to go. This is it on Substack.
Did you know Fox News was created to manipulate you? I've got proof. I'm your information nutritionist, Rev Deuce.
Right next
Fox
to each
News
other.
co-founder Roger Ailes first started planning Fox News in the 1970s. He came up with the idea while he was in the Nixon administration. Ailes eventually typed up his plans to manipulate public opinion in a memo called A Plan for Putting the GOP on TV News. In it, he wrote that people are lazy and television does the thinking for them. They just sit, watch, listen. Yep, that's how little respect the founder of Fox News had for his audience. Fox News is the only of the big three cable channels specifically created to boost support for a political party. CNN and MSNBC were created by businessmen and corporations to make money. When Ted Turner founded CNN in 1980, he wasn't trying to create propaganda to support the Republican or Democratic Party. He was trying to make money. It's the same story with MSNBC. MSNBC was originally a partnership between Microsoft and NBC, and they were trying to capitalize on the rise of the internet. It wasn't until a decade after its founding that MSNBC decided to brand itself more about politics, and even then, that change in content was a business decision.
Oh, look
so
at
there
that.
you have it. When you watch Fox News, you are being manipulated into supporting the Republican Party, even as that party rips up the Constitution and tries to end American democracy. For more healthy information, log on to publicenlightenment.com, where you can get all the context you need to understand the news. How will you be a fact warrior today?
Look at old Deucey doing his thing. So anyway, we're going to put that into the chat so that everybody can go into their Substack and they can distribute that and they can pump that up and restack that. That would be so nice. And then it's also available on YouTube, and you could go in on YouTube. Actually, it's going to be released today as well as a landscape video. And so they had trouble uploading that. But so if you could support Deuce and spread fact-based information about the origins of Fox News, I think when I first learned that that Roger Ailes literally was like waiting 20 years to create a specific pro-GOP cable news channel in order to get support for the GOP. I thought that that was a fascinating piece of information so that we can all understand how our news is made and how our media environment works. So I'm so grateful for everyone to go and share that video. And then let's start going through the news with Deuce. First of all, the first thing we're going to do, in addition to sharing Rev Deuce's video far and wide, is we are going to, so I really would appreciate it if you like this program and you appreciate your pal Deuce, go to Substack, repost that video, go to YouTube, watch the whole video. You don't even have to listen to it. Just watch the whole video, because they put you on the algorithm. They throw you into the algorithm and you start surfing it if you engage people, if people watch the whole video. So maybe even watch all the way to the end and just click on another video. Honestly, that would be really, really helpful. So now what we're going to also do, because we're giving you actions to be fact warriors, is if you have Instagram or if you have TikTok, you are going to take this link and you are going to go and follow. You are going to follow More Perfect Union, the newsroom that is pro-democracy, and you are going. Who is that, Madison? Madison's talking about, and so you are going to follow that link. You are also, if you have TikTok, you are also going to do this on TikTok as well, and you are going to follow More Perfect Union, and when they release videos, you are going to repost their videos and share them, because you are a fact warrior and you care about flooding the zone with facts in the face of the program of the fascists to flood the zone with shit. So that's what we do here. And so let's quickly watch a video from Perfect Union. I think it's a great one for everyone to share because it talks about the corruption of Donald Trump.
Hey, so this is concerning. On Wednesday, this message appeared on Donald Trump's meme coin page. The top 220 Trump coin buyers will be invited to a private dinner with President Trump on May 22nd. This is what the value of Trump looked like immediately after the announcement. BBC reported that at one point the coin's value jumped by 70%. According to CryptoRank, in order to reach the top 220, a person would need to purchase at least $395,000 worth of the meme coin. Here we can see someone spent $8 million on coins after the private dinner offer went live. According to the Washington Post, since Wednesday, crypto wallets have purchased over $100 million worth of Trump, with the biggest buyer spending $24 million. Over the past week, Trump made $1.25 million in fees alone. Since the coin launched in January, it has earned Trump and his partners $41 million in fees and $312 million in sales. The crypto industry was the largest corporate donor in the 2024 election, spending over $245 million. Donald Trump received millions in personal donations from crypto billionaires, and crypto firms spent $10 million on his inauguration. In February, the SEC dropped its lawsuits against big crypto firms. In March, Trump appointed crypto-friendly David Sachs as crypto czar and signed an executive order making a national stockpile of cryptocurrencies. This month, the Department of Justice disbanded the unit that investigates cryptocurrency fraud. The level of corruption here is just mind-blowing. Oh, and the best part, the official terms of the offer say that Trump might not actually be able to attend the dinner. But if that's the case, don't worry, because you'll receive a limited edition Trump NFT instead. Hey, so this is concerning.
Okay, so that is some good reporting from someone who looks like a young person, and so maybe we will break through to the young people by sharing More Perfect Union's stuff, and you can also follow them on Blue Sky. You can also go directly to their website, and so if we are talking about being hooked up to a fact-based pro-democracy stream of information, that is what we are doing here. So we are supporting fact-based pro-democracy newsrooms that report in the public interest. This would apply if Donald Trump or if Joe Biden or if Barack Obama or if any other president of the United States was doing that. We care about facts and democracy here. Our bias is towards facts and democracy. Small d, by the way, Lemon Raccoon, you asked a very long time ago, what is small d democracy? Small d democracy, small d democratic values means just not big D, not saying like when I say that I'm here being a partisan for the Democratic Party, right? That would be the capital D. So that's just that distinction that I like to make when I'm speaking. So anyway, we are so grateful for everyone here. Fact Warriors, mount up. Are you drinking information light and numbing yourself? Are you hooked up to the legacy media stream of false equivalence and both sidesism? Or are you hooked up also to the propaganda and manipulation stream of the right wing that's been created by Christian nationalist billionaires over the last 60 years? Or are you imbibing information tight? Now, I want to show you, speaking of that information stream, I do want to remind everyone of this. This is pretty intense. I like to do stuff that's much shorter, but I do also, especially if there are MAGA-leaning folks who are part of the program and watching today, and we love you so much, I want you to understand the real conspiracy, because there is really, it's not even a theory. There really is a real conspiracy that is being worked at all times, going back to the 1960s. And before, but with the evolution of the thought of business elite in the country as they were looking at the civil rights movement, as they were starting to believe that they were under attack, then they decided, and there was a thing called the Lewis Powell memo, oopsie doopsie, that, you know, got those people to, I got to get off of this screen. I'm on the screen. Oh, because I'm dropping that in there. So I'm dropping that in there too into the Substack chat, and I'll drop that into this chat as well. But this is a way where you can get to know when would you say was the start of the latest age of the information warfare? The latest age. The latest age. I mean, I would say it's since the 1960s. I mean, that's what's been happening. Then what I would say is with the advent of the internet, now we have troll farms, right? We have disinformation efforts by all of our foreign adversaries. And we have the ability to make AI bots and all of this other stuff. So I would say that that is the latest stage for sure. You know what I mean? But so if you want to go way deeper, what I do not like about this article that I just shared with everyone is that there are no like hyperlinks or sources. Maybe there's just one here. Having read this, I do agree with a lot of the information and most of the framing. So I do support it. I mean, it is factual information about what is happening and the players who are involved. So I encourage people, especially if they are conspiratorial in their thinking, the real conspiracy is this one of the Christian nationalists who then paired together with the business elites, the fossil fuel elites like the Koch brothers, and they got the funding from the Koch brothers, and they said to the Koch brothers and the other fossil fuel billionaires, we can get the evangelicals to vote in your best interests. So let's have this unholy marriage. Okay. And so that is what is actually going on in this world. So I encourage people to check that out. Next, I was going to go to this when we talk about the origins. So I'm thinking about a next video that I'm going to do, and I want to get a vote from the audience. But so here's Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater was the 1964 candidate for office for the Republican Party. This was in the midst of that switch that was happening of the Southern strategy. Barry Goldwater actually didn't really like, he was more of a Western wealthy dude, and he was not so much tied into the racism of the Democratic South at the time. But so that switch that happened, the Southern strategy of the Republican Party, that began to coalesce and take shape. And there were factions within the Republican Party at the time who were encouraging Barry Goldwater to reach out to the Southern racists who were, you know, historically tied to the Democratic Party of the South. And Barry Goldwater did push back a little bit on that. But Barry Goldwater was considered very extreme at the time. And one of the origins of this attack attack for liberal media bias was that there was a consensus amongst Americans that Barry Goldwater's ideas were extreme. But the hyper conservatives, because also at the time, both parties had liberal, moderate, and conservative members in them. Whether you were a Southern racist Democrat or a Northern liberal Democrat, right? Whether you were a Southern moderate Republican or or a Western Republican conservative like Barry Goldwater, right? But so the conservatives who were attached to Barry Goldwater, that is when you had the beginning of this process where the Republican Party was basically purified of all elements that weren't hyper conservative, okay? And so that's where you saw all of this trending happening, and the origins of the modern Republican Party are in racism and segregation and the politics of segregation. So I just want to play you this little clip right here from Barry Goldwater, right?
Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Okay, kind of fucked up.
And let me remind you also that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
Moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. So that is a pretty extremism supporting language, right? Like, let's be extreme because we're defending liberty. That's kind of been the argument that's been made as we've had we've had attacks on our more libertarian way of thinking, right? We've had attacks on our personal liberties, especially after 9/11 and those kinds of things. So we see this trend and this through line, and then that becomes this attack on the liberal media who is not allowing the conservatives to just say whatever they wanted because we at the time had the fairness doctrine, and they thought that the mainstream media at the time was so in opposition to Barry Goldwater because they just didn't like conservatives. But really Barry Goldwater he was resoundingly defeated because he was considered to be extreme, and that's not the path that America was going at the time. So I want to keep moving through. We're doing a little more of not just the actual news. We're doing a little more of like a lesson about things. If you're enjoying the program, please tap the like button on Substack, and please tell everyone you know everywhere else. So in this Journal of Economic Perspectives, we've got social media and fake news in the 2016 election. And we're just going to read the abstract. It says, following the 2016 presidential election, many have expressed concern about the effects of false stories circulated largely through social media. We discuss the economics of fake news and present new data on its consumption prior to the election. Drawing on web browsing data, archives of fact-checking websites, and results from a new online survey, we find 1. Social media was an important but not dominant source of election news. This is in 2016, with 14% of Americans calling social media their most important source. That's still like 1 in 7. That's a lot. 2 of the known false news stories that appeared in the 3 months before the election, those favoring Trump were shared a total of 30 million times on Facebook, while those favoring Clinton were shared 8 million times. Three, the average American adult saw, hey, Villa Mundi, welcome in. We are reading the news with Deuce. We are also learning about our information ecosystem. If you want to call into the program, you can see the number on the screen, and you can call in and talk to us about your media diet. The average American adult saw on the order of 1 or perhaps several fake news stories in the months around the election 2016, with just over half of those who recalled seeing them believing them. And 4, people are much more likely to believe stories that favor their preferred candidate, especially if they have ideologically segregated social media networks. And we know today that many of our social media networks are ideologically segregated. 10 years out from this study, maybe 8 years out from this study, the algorithms have been tuned even further. Yes, and. So we just wanted people to see that, and I think you can go and you can read that. Now, what did I do? What did I type up there? I don't like that. How do I get this back? Okay, great. We're going to drop this into the chat. Sorry, I know it becomes a hall of mirrors when I do that. We're going to go back to that, and you can read that study if you want to, I guess, pay for it. I don't know. But we appreciated the abstract, and we're always trying to learn. This is a piece from the Los Angeles Times in 2002 about the media bias myth. And we don't agree with every frame that is in here, but it basically, I think that there's a really good paragraph in here. Here we go. The dirty little secret of network newscasts and of most major newspapers is not that they are manned by liberal proselytizers. It is that they are trying to attract the widest possible viewership or readership, and that doing so necessitates that they be as inoffensive as possible. That is why investigative reports seem so toothless, gumming away at government boondoggles or consumer fraud or corrupt politicians that are unlikely to infuriate either the left or the right. It's one of the reasons why we see so many interviews with Trump supporters, yet we don't see very many that we don't see any more, very many that we don't see very many interviews with Democrats. We see very few interviews with Democrats because the assumption is that they're not going to lose the Democrat voting audience, right? If at the major legacy media institutions. So they go out and they interview Trump supporters because, one, it's like red meat for the liberal readers of like the New York Times, but then it also is a way for them to build as much engagement as possible by offering, similar viewpoints to Trump supporters in their papers. And of course, they hire people like Ross Douthat and Pamela Paul and Mark Thiessen and, people who express conservative viewpoints, sometimes on both sides with specious facts-based information in their opinion sections. One of the highlights and lowlights really of all that is the way that the New York Times was covering trans health care over the last couple of years. But so welcome into the program. We are reading the news with Deuce. This is just a breakdown of trust in media, which has been cratering ever since the attacks beginning in the 1960s on the liberal media and calling the media liberal and saying that media was the problem, media was the enemy, when really it over time became a way of distracting people from the role that journalism serves, which is to expose fraud, waste, and abuse. Gwendolyn Berry, welcome in. We are reading the news with Rev Deuce. We are also kind of doing a deep dive into what it means to be a news consumer and how we interact with and understand our information ecosystem. Journalism does serve the public. David, journalism is an immunizer for the public against harms. That is what it does in its best function, right? In its very best function, it is an immunizer. It inoculates the public against harmful information. Let's go through the news with Deuce a little bit. These are some things that I reposted. Now, Elizabeth Warren, I'm thinking about putting together a piece that is like, these politicians are doing some great work sharing fact-based information. So Elizabeth Warren is saying Republicans in Congress want to make it more expensive for kids from working class families to go to college and easier for schools to scam student loan borrowers, all to pay for tax handouts for the wealthiest Americans. That's the GOP agenda. Now, we have talked in the past and in our piece about Charlie Kirk, we have talked about and shared the information about the attack on academia from the conservative billionaires. We do know that that is a real thing going on in the world. So Donald Trump also pardoned a Republican who spent police officer memorial fund on plastic surgery. This is kind of a sensational story, but it speaks just even further, once again, to the types of people who are in Donald Trump's orbit and the types of people who are engaging in corrupt behavior. Of course, we know about Pam Bondi's corruption. And now she is the attorney general. She helped Donald Trump out in the 2000s when his fraudulent Trump Foundation was receiving complaints in Florida. And she was the attorney general. And she received a bribe from Donald Trump, and she acted on it. And now she's the attorney general of the United States. We have this exclusive from NPR that 2 Doge employees have access to a network used to transmit classified nuclear weapons data and a separate network used by the Department of Defense. Sources tell NPR. Quoted from this article, political scientist Brendan Nyhan is saying a 23-year-old former SpaceX intern and a Miami-based venture capitalist have had accounts on the computer systems for at least 2 weeks. Neither Farador nor Ramada appeared to have had experience with either nuclear weapons or handling classified information. What in the holy heck-a-deck-a-ding-dong is going on here? That is not good. You can go to our Blue Sky account and find all of these things reposted. They know there's going to be an apocalypse for trucking jobs due to the tariffs, so they're trying to stem the political damage by making it so the layoffs disproportionately affect non-English speaking truckers. So we thought that perspective was fascinating from this account. And this is literally what they're doing. They're going to have an English speaking.
And then the third executive order, which actually speaks to the heart of your question earlier about the Uber drivers, will be a order directing the Department of Transportation to include English literacy tests for our truckers. This is a big problem in the trucking community that, unless you're in that community, you might not know. But there's a lot of communication problems between truckers on the road with federal officials and local officials as well, which obviously is a public safety risk. So we're going to ensure that our truckers, who are the backbone of our economy, are all able to speak English. That's a very common sense policy in the United States of America. So the president will be signing that later this afternoon. Yeah, you're welcome. To the back.
So we saw this piece, the annual review from Robbie. This is annual review, Race, Racism, and the Crisis of Democracy in Political Science. We are going to drop that. I did not read this, and so I never endorse anything per se that I have not fully read, but we think it looks interesting, and so maybe people can read it and get back to their old pal Rev Deuce about it. So that is an academic work. And then we wanted to show people a video. Now, what's going on in this chat? Perchance. I love your dedication to the truth. Well, we love your dedication to coming to this program, Lemon Raccoon, and we love you so much, and we're so grateful for you. Reminder, please go and share all of Rev Deuce's videos so you can support Rev Deuce. Now, let's see. What have we been saving over here on Instagram? Well, we've been saving some scary stuff, everybody, so we want to show you. This is a video that is from a documentary from 2018, but I'm showing it to highlight for you that there are toddlers who are representing themselves in immigration court currently.
Are you a little nervous this morning? See? Do you understand what these proceedings here in court are all about? You know what a lawyer is? No?
So obviously, I guess that judge was a little perturbed by the fact that he had to be doing this, so he did allow a film crew to, about a Fox owner making a milkshake for his viewers. All right, David is requesting a song currently. David is requesting a song in the chat. David, that sounds good. Let me just highlight this story from Now This. Elon Musk, it was in Jalopnik. Elon Musk is shutting down the government loan office that gave him the money to grow Tesla. So he owes Tesla's survival to $465 million Department of Energy loan. Musk has overseen a 60% gutting of the loan program's office, which once funded high-risk green projects. The result is that battery plants and nuclear initiatives and EV startups face collapse. And that's him specifically destroying the competition. So Elon Musk is a giant scam. He is a dickhead who's living out fear's patterns of inadequacy and shame, and we need to usher him out of the halls of power and onto the couch of therapy, and that can't happen soon enough. If you want to support Deuce, you could go to TikTok or Instagram, and you can show people this song that we just released. It was from one of our previous live streams. I'm pretty proud of the editing work I've done here.
My greatest.
Oh, it's not that one. Hold on. I'm pretty proud of the editing work I've done here, or did I not post this yet?
White guilt. We get suggestions.
Oh, I didn't post it here yet, did I? Well, we'll go to TikTok and we'll show you this other video. Whoopsie doopsie bing bong. But we got to bring some levity, so we're going to bring some levity now with a little ditty from your old pal Rev Deuce. Here we go. It's pretty hardcore.
They're gonna tell you that you're a terrorist. They're gonna tell you that you're a terrorist if you protest peacefully. They're gonna tell you that you're a terrorist. They're gonna tell you that you're a terrorist. They're gonna tell you that you're a terrorist if you protest peacefully. Show up during the day and you protest with a sign. They're gonna say that at night you're the same one who throws turpentine onto a car, bleh, onto a car, bleh, onto a car, bleh. Pam Bondi coming for your freedom. Pam Bondi coming for your freedom. She's gonna defend a billionaire instead of the rights of the poor. Pam Bondi coming for your freedom. Pam Bondi coming for your freedom. Defending the rights of a billionaire instead of the rights of the poor.
So you could go and share that video of Rev Deuce, and he would be so grateful. Yo, holy shit, bathrobe guy Steve, that's incredible. Okay, so Steve, what a graceful soul you are, because sometimes it's not easy for people to be challenged on their information, and so we are so grateful for Steve. Steve, the bathrobe guy, said in the Substack chat, "This was great, must run. Thanks for the info and the chat. I learned much. Thanks for helping me land on the side of logic. Stay entangled, my friends. Stay entangled." Okay, well, we love that. So that's beautiful from Steve. And Steve, you are getting messages of love from our friends elsewhere on the internet. I love you, you love me. This is a beautiful time. So let's sing a song right now. We're going to improvise a song. We're going to bring it to the main tub, and we're going to improvise a song. It sounds like the people want ska. Do you hear the people singing a song of ska-based improvised music that is based on the suggestion of a culture war bullshit idea? Someone is saying, MH3, my Twitch is being lame, can't log in. MH3, we are grateful for you. Thank you, MH3, for being here. You can log into YouTube, and so we are grateful for that. We are grateful for you. If you would tap all of the buttons that exist there so that we can spread our message far and wide. The suggestion is for Dara. I do not know what that means. How dare you, Dara? Okay, here we go. We are going to look up some ska. And then the suggestion, there was some before. That suggestion is for Dara. What, the ska suggestion? Welcome in, Faye Alana. We are fact warriors who are spreading fact-based information at all times. Love you too, bathrobe guy. Beautiful. Let's spread this movement. Let's grow this movement. A world of ska. Let's hear it. I'm not really practiced in singing ska. Do I know Lava Chicken Minecraft Steve? What the hell? Okay. Ooh. Okay. So we're going to do one of those first ones. What is the suggestion, please, of a bullshit culture war missile that is created by the psychological arms dealers who work at the right-wing billionaire think tanks, because that is what the culture war is. It is nothing more than a coordinated effort to destroy our consensus and distract us. And we love you. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I don't know what's going on. Dara Love Sky, what the hell was that ghost written by Jacob? I don't know what is happening. What are the songs what is the suggestion that you want me to do now, everybody? I would like to know. Of course, we want to remind people to go and share Rev Deuce's video about
Did you
Fox
know
News.
Fox News was created to manipulate you? I've got proof. I'm your information nutritionist, Rev Deuce. Fox News
So please go and share that video. I'm going to drop it back into the chat. If you are in Substack, let me know. Tap that heart button. I'm going to tap it. I'll tap it. Why not? Tappity tap it tap. Okay, please. Also, Marley, what is your penguin song? What the hell are you talking about, Marley? Marley, I want to support you, but is it a Marley, is it a culture war bullshit idea? Like, is it something Charlie Kirk says? I want it to be something Charlie Kirk says, Ben Shapiro says, Tucker Carlson says, Steve Bannon says, Chris Rufo says, Barry Weiss says. I want it to be from these people who generate this bullshit for us. Can someone remind me what it is? Yes, and I love you all so much. After we do this song, we are going to we're gonna do a little bit more news with Deuce, and then we'll say arrivederci. You know what I mean? That's what they say somewhere. And if you are here in the Substack, we would love to hear from you. And so we would also love for you to share. I feel like it could be funny. It's relevant to that, but not something they would talk about. It could be funny. Okay, well, but what is it? I still don't really know, because I guess I could scroll up. I don't see... Penguin. But please, everyone, can you support Rev Deuce by sharing the articles that Rev Deuce writes? They would lie that tariffing a place that is only inhabited by penguins makes America look strong. Trump put tariffs on an island that only inhabited by penguins. Okay. Penguin. All right, this is going to be hard. Rev Deuce is about to improvise a song based on the suggestion that Donald Trump put tariffs on an island only inhabited by penguins, and the track for that is going to be a ska-based track. So here we go. Let's see what we do. Is this the right level? Okay. I wake up and I go to the bathroom. I am a penguin in this scenario, and I want to send it overseas. So I take my little penguin duty and I put it in a little box, and I bring it to the penguin post office, and then I get a shock. They say it will cost me too much money to send my poop around the world, because Donald Trump has put tariffs on every boy and girl and penguin. Donald Trump, he put the tariff on the penguin. Donald Trump, he put the tariff on the penguin. What do penguins even produce besides lots of squawks and a little bit of poop? They don't. So how will it contribute to the deficit? It won't, because Donald Trump did not think through anything. Madison, we hear that you are having a bad time with all of the anxiety. So we say, you do not have to worry, these guys are incompetent. They took a tariff and they put it on the penguins. No bow ties and no hats for the penguins, they can't afford them anymore. No bow ties and no hats for the penguins, they can't afford it anymore. Okay, that ended abruptly. So there we go. That was a song about the penguins and the tariffs that were put onto the penguins by Donald Trump. He also put a tariff onto a United States military base because that was the only thing that was in this swath of islands. But the thing about it, too, is that it was also just done. It wasn't done out of, like, stupidity. It was done out of greed and corruption, right? Because then once the market was tanked, Donald Trump told all of his buddies, okay, here we go. We're going to turn the machine back on. And then he removed a bunch of the tariffs. So, all right, the audience enjoyed it. So that's all we want to do is have the audience enjoy it. So let's see if we can share some other videos that are fact-based. We thought that this was interesting. So this is a judge pushing back on the arrest of the judge, Judge Dugan. We did share a video the other day. I think it's worth sharing again. This is an attorney who works with the judge who was arrested for supposedly aiding and abetting an immigrant. And that's just not how it works. I think judges and lawyers know, but are they appearing on our major media? So here's some contextualizing information.
I know Judge Dugan. I have supported her, and I have known her for years. She's a very fine judge. She's very, very honest. She's committed no crime. And let's just explain real briefly the result of what happened. First of all, this is an administrative warrant. It wasn't a judicial warrant. An administrative warrant is issued by, in this case, ICE or the Naturalization Department without any judicial oversight whatsoever. So what they do is they come to the thing. She tells them to leave. Go to the chief judge's office, Judge Ashley, who also somebody I know. And they many leave, but one of them slyly stays behind. She then goes in and she says to the guy and his lawyer, leave by that exit. There's nothing wrong with that. She can control her courtroom. I litigated in Milwaukee for 40 years, and the whole issue of cameras in the courtroom, who can go in the courtroom, is up to the judge. It's up to the judge. These people should not be going into the courthouse, much less a courtroom. So she did it. She didn't mislead anybody. And now they, as an intimidation tactic, have charged her with 2 felonies in federal court. And she is innocent. She has committed no crime. And I think you're going to find people, including judges, will be uniformly supportive of her. I know Judge Dugan.
So we want to go and share that all over the internet. So we are going to drop that into, oh my goodness, hold on, everybody. They have yet to figure out how to fix this problem on Windows. It's so stupid, but so, okay, now I need to be able, there we go. Now I can drop it into the chat, I think, I hope. There we go. So we want you to go and share that video everywhere across the internet, because it is contextualizing information that people need to understand. And so is your source of media sharing that with you? So we want to go and show some of the new people. If you are in Substack, can I get a hey, yeah? If you are in Substack, will you talk to me? I would love to talk to you. Let me know. Click on that little heart that's in your Substack screen. But we want to go and check out the news, so you can go to these lists, okay? These are lists that you can find over here. Click the lists thing. You see that on the screen. I'm hovering over it. You go to Blue Sky, you go to publicenlightenment.com, and we've got all these lists. And so one way you can find fact-based news that aligns with democracy is you can come into this list. You can pin it to your main feed if you want, and you can get about 30 fact-based pro-democracy newsrooms, U.S. consumer confidence. Heck yeah, both of you. I love you. Thank you for engaging so much in the chat. User confidence slides for the 5th straight month to levels not seen since the onset of COVID-19. That is not the message that you are receiving on Fox propaganda. The Intercept, a large segment of California's Democratic establishment, is lining up behind the bill. Education gag order over Palestine lessons in California. That is interesting. That is fascinating. The court did not release a decision on Louisiana's congressional map today. The Supreme Court's next decision day is tomorrow. The U.S. Supreme Court will release decisions at 10 a.m. That is from Democracy Docket. If you want to know what's going on with our courts, you read Democracy Docket. You sign yourself up just by following this feed from Public Enlightenment. So this is how you can get small d democratic, bias towards democracy, context, and facts information by following this list on Blue Sky from your old pal Rev Deuce, who is an information nutritionist after all. So that is one way that you can be a fact warrior today. Of course, we reviewed earlier that you can be a fact warrior by spreading fact-based information online. Social media influencers are what people rely on for news. If you are under the age of 30, 40% of you rely on social media influencers for your news. And over 60% of social media influencers do not fact check any of the information they share. So we want you to be aware of that fact as you go out and do battle on the internet every single day. Let's go check out some other things that you could share on social media. We want to go to reposts on TikTok. That is where Rev Deuce has put information. I think this is the person you were talking about. And so you're saying that this person was scamming you, Madison? This guy?
I've spent the last 7 hours of my life listening to
because if that's the case, I'm so grateful for that information, and I do not want to further recommend that person. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? So we also want to always be boosting our friend Nico.
Is your member of Congress a piece of Let's find out. Today we're going to be grading the financial integrity.
Sorry, we're just going to drop that. So Nico is this incredible person on TikTok.
Maliatakis from New York's 11th Congressional District. All right, so she's been in office since 2021. Last cycle of the $3.3 million that she raised, 38% of those funds came from PACs, 11% of those funds came from small individual donations, while 36% of those funds came from large individual donations. Now, she holds a lot of individual stock, with it estimated that $350,000 of her $1.3 million net worth is held in individual stocks. And she also got almost $200,000 from 64 different corporate PACs, but I want to focus really quickly on just 7 of those corporate PACs. And those would be the corporate PACs of Boeing, Bank of America, Caterpillar, GE, Pfizer, AT&T, and Verizon. As I said, she gets corporate PAC donations from all these organizations, and they also make up roughly half of her stock portfolio. All right, so with less than half of her funds coming from individual donors, a boatload of corporate money, and a ton of individual stocks being held, you already know that Nicole Maliatakis is getting an F. Is your member of Congress?
Okay, so we want to boost Nico as much as possible, fact-based influencer who tells you about information that is highly relevant to democracy. Who of your congressional members, senators, and Congress members are taking too much money and who is being relatively pure? Now, we also want to share this video from Jamel Bowie. Now, I pushed back on Jamel Bowie because at the beginning of it, he says that he doesn't really think that media criticism is very interesting. And I push back because media criticism is everything. Everything we know about the world is told to us by strangers, and those strangers often have agendas. And if they themselves do not have agendas, the places that they work for have agendas because billionaires and millionaires own those sources of information. So we think that media criticism is actually one of the most important things that can happen because it helps people understand and gain a more media literacy, and so it is actually essential to be doing media criticism. And we also believe that Jamel Bowie kind of undermines his argument or his belief that media criticism is boring in this piece. So I want you to watch this from Jamel Bowie, who is a opinion writer for the New York Times. Smart dude, lives in Charlottesville, where I used to live.
So in The Atlantic, Nick Miroff has a really interesting scoop. The headline of this piece is How the Trump Administration Flipped on Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And the subhead is Officials were developing a plan to get him back to the United States, and asked why did they stop. And here's how the story begins. Late last month, 3 days after Abrego Garcia's family filed its lawsuit over his deportation, government attorneys began discussing how to undo the mistake and bring him back. In their conversations, officials went so far as to float the idea of having the U.S. ambassador to El Salvador make a personal appeal to the country's president for Abrego Garcia's return. But first, the State Department's legal team wanted more information.
This is actually not the video that I thought it was, so I'm going to go back. Now, I wanted to show people some other stuff that is on Instagram that I saved. So what do we have over here? Oh, so I wanted to look this up about this judge who came out in support of, because we're in a constitutional crisis right now, David. They're getting away with it because we're not taking to the streets. They're getting away with it because millions of Americans are required to protest in this moment. Our Constitution is being dissolved in front of us in service to both technocrat, tech bro fascists, and in service to the Christian nationalists who want to rip up the Constitution and establish a theocracy. So that is why, because, you know, political scientists, there are studies that suggest that if 3.5% of the population take to the streets peacefully, that is a way to thwart, authoritarianism's rise in countries. We should have arts and crafts for protest signs. We should also have a meme space where we take some of the things that Rev Deuce talks about and we talk about in here and we turn it into memes. That would be incredible. So I just want to look up this judge, Monica Isham, because it's very important that she spoke out. Monica Isham. And I don't necessarily like this source here. This Other 98. Other 98, there's another account called Siester Jones, which they post good stuff, but then they often have, anti-Democratic Party stuff. And while I am not a partisan for the Democratic Party, it is the only viable opposition party, and I think to crap all over it in this time is dangerous because there is no other means to abate a hot war or a major conflict in our world and in our country if we don't just do it through democratic means, small d democratic means. So that's how Rev Deuce feels about everything. But so let's see here. I do not, David. I do not. And I would love to hear your ideas about how a third-party option could be viable. Like 90 million adults don't even vote in the first place in this country. And that's how we ended up in this situation that we are currently in. So I'd be curious to understand, I think if everyone decides to become civically engaged, that would be beautiful, but people don't do that, right? There's not. If everyone was Deuce, the world would be perfect. You know what I mean? Not perfect, but maybe just a lot more fun. Wisconsin judge threatens courtroom boycott over Hannah Dugan arrest. So that's Fox News' framing. The newest face of the resistance, that's Daily Kos's framing. So these are kind of opposite, although Daily Kos is fact-based, even though everything has its own bias. Oh yeah, that's right. I also posted some video of a... Okay, well, let's see what Daily Kos's article says. So this judge, I think in another county in Minnesota, or where was this? In Wisconsin, threatened to stop holding court. So in the wake of the FBI arrest, Milwaukee-based judge Hannah Dugan, Wisconsin judge Monica Isham is threatening to close her court to protest. Isham of Sawyer County made the stunning claim in an email sent to all state judges on Saturday. Isham claims she no longer feels protected or respected as a judge after the arrest of Dugan and will refuse to hold court with without new guidance or support. I no longer feel protected or respected as a judge in this administration. If there is no guidance for us and no support for us, I will refuse to hold court in Branch 2. I will not put myself or my staff who may feel compelled to help me or my community in harm's way. I thought that was fascinating. Now let's keep going over here. Elon Musk's data center in Memphis is causing environmental pollution. And then we do like to highlight when a government official does something.
The reason you can't pay your rent has nothing to do with trans people. The reason that you don't have health care has nothing to do with the immigrant. and it has everything to do with corrupt billionaires like Elon Musk, who have been rigging this system for generations. The reason you can't pay your rent has nothing.
We just think that that's a good message, and it's the kind of message that needs to be out there these days. I am going to go back to Rev Deuce's Blue Sky, and we are going to, why do you think they are focusing on trans people and not actual problems? Because it is an easy scapegoat to have, Lemon Raccoon. Because it is a distraction that divides people. It works on the ideas of traditional conservative religiosity, especially in the evangelical space, where many of the pastors have eviscerated the separation of church and state and encouraged their constituents, their flock, their congregation to use apps like Gloo, Gloo, which then becomes a tracking app that they then use to get them to vote a certain way. They use this app to track people and their preferences, and they send them information that will induce them to vote a certain way. This happens in evangelical churches and communities across the country. And so when they engage with this attack on trans people, they are tapping into several things about what it means to be conservative, and it is a talking point that works for them. And so they continue to do it because it is a talking point that works for them. It is strategic. It is a strategic manipulation campaign to distract from real problems and to distract from the idea that we could come together as a working class and say something to the ruling class. It is a tale as old as time, and they have been doing that for a very long time. So, Marley, what are you doing? I reposted something like that yesterday, I think. Hell yeah, Marley, that is right. You are a fact warrior. How will you all be fact warriors today? What is Mike Johnson saying? Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president in the last 80 years. How do you interpret those numbers? Mike Johnson, professional liar, participated in the big lie, lied about elections, something that should be totally unacceptable to every American, regardless of if you are a conservative or a liberal or anything in between or outside of those things. Mike Johnson, unless you are, I guess, an accelerationist, look in any new administration, it's a roller coaster. What the real polling is showing is that they understand that we're heading somewhere. What is the real polling? I'm sure he has nothing to back that up with. It is just a talking point. This is a fascinating cover of the New Yorker, this political cartoon. Let's just go through a little bit of some things that I also reposted. So we have that SpaceX intern thing. We have this annual review thing. Reverend William Barber was expelled from the rotunda after praying. This person, Jack Jenkins, says that he's never seen. He's a reporter for the Religion News Service. Okay. He's never seen that. He's never seen someone be escorted out for praying, I guess. So this was just really gross, and I wanted people to see this.
An accessible presidency in American history. So with that, let's kick it off, and I'm happy to take your question first, Eric.
So we talk all the time. Michaela, I'm going to answer your call. Michaela, hello. Could you just hold for one moment?
All right, Rev.
Okay, great. And thank you so much. Hold on for just one moment. So one thing that we've talked about on the program is that what's happening is we have a disinformation post-truth America. We have a disinformation president and a disinformation administration. And what they have done strategically by picking fights with the AP and things like that is they have established this permission structure for them to reshape what it means to be a White House correspondent and who gets to be in the room with them. So increasingly, we have seen right-wing disinformers, literally propagandists, be brought in. We saw Tim Pool ask a question the other day. He was put in the new media seat. And so this becomes a propaganda feedback loop, which is just really, really wild and should be unacceptable to all Americans. And so this is how it went down with the newest person in the new media media seat. I do not know what source they are from, what media made to look like journalism but isn't journalism. But I just want to play this real quick, Michaela, and then I cannot wait to hear your fear and support you.
Aaron.
Thanks so much, Caroline, both for having us and for granting me the first
All right,
question
yes,
here.
Rev.
Sure.
And I can attest to the deportations in Florida. My Uber drivers finally speak English again, so thank you for that. But my question for you is, what are the...
She said her Uber driver finally speaks English again, and so she wanted to thank her for that because apparently not speaking English well means you're a piece of shit or something. Who knows what's going on in these people's brains? Michaela, welcome into the program. I'm going to reach across the internet and I'm going to lightly tap your shoulder and say, and look you in the eye and say, I got your back. Can you do the same for me?
Thank you, Rev. I got your back.
Hell yeah. It's so nice to talk to you for the first time. I love you. And what do you have to say?
So I have this fear right now. So I'm in a point in my life where I'm thinking about leaving the furry fandom, which is something that I mentioned a couple of days ago.
You're thinking
And
about
Madison
leaving the furry community?
Yes, because there's so much drama right now and so much hatred. And it's
Oh,
getting
my.
insane, actually.
What is the drama and hatred in the furry community? So just to give the audience a little bit of a background, you are a somewhat well-known furry person, and so you are speaking with deep knowledge of the, furry community. And so, okay, keep going.
So I'm not like well known like that. Like don't put me up there with the puppy first. They're evil. But
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
But there's just been a lot of drama and discourse, and people are getting like canceled so easily by somebody just disagreeing with them. And like right now, like the furry fandom is how I've made a lot of my money and how I've been able to like get an education and stuff. Is because I like do commissions and stuff like that. And I'm scared that I might get canceled or something. And like if I get canceled, then I'll no longer like get paid or anything. And it's like, it's so annoying that it was something that I did recreationally, and now it's something that is like a genuine fear.
What are,
Because
okay,
anybody
so
can make up anything.
yeah, so first of all, we love you and we support you and we hear your fear. And so we say, yes, Michaela, we hear your fear of losing your income and we support you. Yes, Michaela, we hear your fear of being canceled in a world where anything can be said about any furry at any time, and we love you. And yes, Michaela, we hear your fear about the threatening nature of what it means to exist in the toxic furry community currently, and we are so grateful that you shared that with us. So, Michaela, what are people being canceled for in the furry community?
So it can be anywhere from not taking care of a fish that's the way you're meant to. That was a big thing on the internet for a while. And it could be from being like actually a zoophile. Like there's like, and I am not one to put that out there, but like it's like it can be over something so stupid. And for like it's like, and bro was in a tank for like 5 minutes that it shouldn't have been in because it was cleaning, and it got somewhere that they got, like, it's like stupid stuff like that people's lives can be like, their income could be ruined because of that, you know?
Okay, wait, hold on now. So does every furry person maintain a fish?
No, Rev. It's so one furry had a fish and it got very controversial for no freaking reason. Like, it was stupid.
So they share like their joy of their fish online, and someone said, "Well, that fish looks a little sick. You're canceled."
Yes, pretty much. And then they were like, "This is animal abuse," and then that person got like shit on immediately.
Okay, and then there's a zoophile.
Yeah, so that's like actually bad. So there are cancelable offenses that are reasonable, and
That's like bestiality.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is not something I fall under.
Sure. So what I understand about furries so far is that there's a weird horny contingent that's kind of the old school. Sorry, I don't mean to say weird. If you're horny, that's cool. Everybody out there, it's okay to be horny. Okay, so what I understand about the furry world is that there's like a horny contingent, Then there's just like a cosplay contingent, which sounds like what your deal is. And then there's also like a like we also take care of and interact with other animals contingent, and there's probably crossover across all that.
Yeah, so furries are actually very well known for like donating and helping funding like a bunch of organizations. And stuff. Like,
that makes total sense. Yeah.
So they're very big on that. But
okay, so but do you have anything that you could be like canceled for?
no, literally no. But like it's like I've had a buddy of mine that like literally got canceled for nothing. Like they were like, oh, I could have sworn you drew this in some certain way, and like literally I saw the original piece and there was nothing wrong with it.
Well, it seems like there is some amount of like, well, I'll say immaturity amongst like furries, or like maybe sort
100%.
of like a reflexive, like it's more about like signaling. I don't really like the term virtue signaling, but it's more about like this knee-jerk reflexive, oh, okay, like if everyone, it's like a school of fish. If everyone goes this way, we're just going to go that way. And like if anybody gets hurt in the process, like and canceled, like who cares?
It is similar to that, yeah.
So, Michaela, here's what we want to say to you to support you in your fear. So we want you, first of all, to say, these are my fears and I embrace them.
These are my fears and I embrace them.
And we're so grateful that you do embrace them. And what we understand here in the Mega Church of Joy, which is a secular religion based on the tenets of quality improvisational comedy, is that whenever we have a fear, that is in a time to reach for our toolkit. And so, Michaela, our toolkit is energy, support, commitment, giving, connection, and gratitude. And so in this moment, here's what you have. In this moment, you have a successful furry career. In this moment, your life is filled with joy because you are able to do commissions and live out your furry dreams by making people happy and earning money doing it. And so in this moment, it seems like there is a lot to rejoice for. And so could we possibly say, in this moment, I do get joy from my status as a furry who is successful?
Yeah, I do get joy from it.
Okay, well, that's beautiful. And so in this moment, there is nothing that we can control about the future. And in this moment, there is nothing we can do about the possibility that I guess you might have the wrong color marker in the background of a picture that you take. And someone will say that marker is made from the eyeballs of rabbits. How dare you? You are canceled forever. And so what we would maybe say is that moving forward, all that you can do is keep doing what you have been doing, because what you have been doing has been working. And so it is not to discount your fear. Your fear is so real and we totally understand it. And we're so grateful that you shared it with us. But perhaps you are living in a moment right now and in the successive moments for the foreseeable future that are still joyful moments, if tainted by the reality that your friends are getting canceled for the dumbest stuff ever. So Michaela, so I think that your fears are totally valid, and I think that it is a scary time to be a furry in America and around the world. But I think it sounds to me like you are a little bit of a rock star. It sounds to me like you have a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul, and you are a being of light who wants to connect with other people and make them happy by taking commissions, by doing these things, by dressing in a certain way that is fun and exciting and fulfilling for you. And so what I would ask of you is to keep doing that, and as best you can realize that the fears that you are feeling are a giant dickhead. who is himself scared and afraid that he might not be able to control you, afraid that you may reach further across the world with your potential and your energy and your beauty and your joy. And so fear wants to keep you in that space where you are anxious about the future. But we ask you to embrace that fear and over fear's shoulder in every moment see on the opposite side the possibility for joy that you are able to have in every moment. And we love you so much and we support you, and you are an incredible person, and we love you and we support you.
Thank you, Rev. That was beautiful.
Well, you are beautiful. Thank you for being here. And thank you for calling in with your fear and having the energy to do that. We only can get help and support in our fears. We can only work back against fear and embrace him and pop the bubble that fear keeps us in, containing our energy to be joyful and do the thing. We can only do that if we speak our fears out loud. And so we are so grateful for you.
Thank you, Rev. I'm grateful for you.
Well, hell fucking yeah. All right.
Well, thank you for your help, Rev. Signing
Hey,
off now.
what's your media diet?
Oh, my media diet, huh? Well, as I did say a couple of days ago, I have deleted social media, so I have not been on that. So my media diet has been low-key. It's just been listening to you, because every other time of the day I'm doing something else. So pretty much just this.
Okay, well, great. Well, we love that. That's pretty incredible. This is the best source of information possible. We are not going to cover every piece of news, but we are going to give you the skills and the tools to go find great news that is biased towards democracy and facts. That is our only bias here. So we invite the people who are watching our conversation with Michaela to go to publicenlightenment.com at Blue Sky and go to the lists that are there. Oh, okay. Michaela hung up. Cool. Okay. Bye, Michaela. So we invite you to go to the list that Rev Deuce has created for you on Blue Sky. We invite you to consult with historians, legal experts. You know what? Yesterday I added so many legal experts because there was an article that I found in the New York Times that had legal exports from all of the different ideological perspectives in this country, including the ones that are paid for by the George Mason right-wing. George Mason University is funded by right-wing billionaire conservative Christian nationalists so that they can create scholarship that supports their agenda. I don't know if people do that. But anyway, that person was in there, and even they were worried about the rise of authoritarianism. So we consulted those legal experts, constitutional lawyer experts, and we added them to this list of legal experts. And we can't control how often they post pictures of their dogs. And then we also are going to eventually make some for lists for economists. What was the other one David wanted? Foreign affairs. So we're going to do that, but we have so much to do. And so we're going to sign off for today. We are going to ask people to go to TikTok, Be Fact Warriors, repost fact-based information. Rev Deuce, his reposts are approved for you to share. Except for this guy. We got to investigate this guy. Apparently he tried to scam Madison, so we're going to look into that guy. Still, the information that he's talking about is anti-Charlie Kirk's movement, and Charlie Kirk is paid for by right-wing Christian conservative billionaires who want to create a theocracy. And so we want to tell our MAGA friends and loved ones about that. So we want to share things like this, the real deep state from this American Manifesto, because this is well-sourced information, although he does not provide the sources, but I have read it and I understand that this is the accurate portrayal of the real conspiracy in America to manipulate us and get us to vote for and support these hyper-conservative. So the thing is that like we were on a path in this country. It doesn't have to be progressivism all the time, but this is a hyper-conservative backlash to that has been going on for 60 years, and it has created a warped America that is more conservative, right? All of the other European democracies, for example, all of those democracies have become to be more progressive. They all have health care, for instance, right? We are a nation mired in disinformation. We are a land victimized by propaganda. You know what I'm saying? Wish Grayson could have heard that one. But so we want to remind people that our trust in media is at an all-time low because media has been attacked by these hyper-extremist conservative billionaires and their apparatchiks for the last 50 to 60 years in this country. We want you to go onto TikTok and repost fact-based information that is contained in Rev Deuce's fact-based reposts, because that is a place, social media, where lots of disinformation and propaganda is stewing, and we need to push back on the manosphere. We need to push back on the fascists who are spreading the zone, flooding the zone with shit at all times. And we also want you to go to publicenlightenment.com, where I am spreading articles and other things, and you can flood the zone with facts about due process rights. You can share the context that Dems are taking money from Palantir as Peter Thiel achieves his goal of a tech fascist dictatorship. It's obviously Republicans are way worse in the extremism that's happening, but we need to point out the reality that Democrats are also taking lobbying money from these vicious arms dealers and war contracting companies. We've got Barry Weiss, brought to you by Billionaires. There's a lot of great information there about how the culture war is generated to manipulate us. We've got Charlie Kirk is a billionaire psyop. Please send that to a young person you know who is under the influence of Charlie Kirk. We've got 6 fact-based influencers you can repost now to flood the zone with facts. So we are all about flooding the zone with facts, because at all times we are in an information war. Yes, and... So every morning we are sponsored by Grass Milk. Grass Milk Soar. And also, we want to remind you that the program is becoming more codified. The first half hour of the program every day is committed to our relationship with fear and the religion that is the Mega Church of Joy, based on embracing fear and understanding that fear is an obstruction to human connection, and human connection is the basis for joy. So how will you connect with another human being today, tomorrow, and the next day? How will you push back against the program of division and hatred that is being created for us by the right-wing billionaires? By being a fact warrior, caring about everyone's media diets, and doing something to spread fact-based information in this world. And how will you be a fact warrior? And of course, that's what we do in the second part of the program. So every single day, first half hour, working on a relationship with fear, loving you, supporting you, lifting you up, making you feel like a rock star, giving you the tools you need to work with your relationship with fear. And then the second hour and a half is talking about our media and information ecosystem, pushing back against disinformation, in giving us the context we need to understand the news, why we live in the society that we do. We're doing all of that for you every single day. So MH3, we love you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Michaela, we're so grateful you called into the show today and shared your fear. Madison, we're so great you called into the show today and shared your fear. We are so grateful for bathrobe guy Steve, who came in and shared his information that he had about climate change, and we were able to give him some other information about climate change that we thought was a little more fact-based and a little more persuasive. And we're so grateful for Steve's energy, that he accepted that, and that he wanted to work with that, and that he was grateful for us in return. So if you are grateful for Rev Deuce and what he's doing here, the movement he is creating to change and save the nation with quality, healthy, fact-based information, we'll someday get it out in a way that is smooth, I promise you. So we are giving you the context you need to understand the news. We are talking about information and our relationship to it. Our bias is towards facts and democracy. The culture war is nothing more than a missile made by psychological arms dealers at right-wing think tanks. The media is not liberal. It is a commercialized corporate system for informing the public. We need to stop doom scrolling and start fact spreading. Fact warriors, mount up. I'm gonna start sharing with you a Substack of the day. I guess I already did. The Substack of the day is this article, The Real Deep State. Share that widely. Please boost me wherever you can. Like, follow. If you are going to watch one of my videos, watch it all the way through till the end and then click on something at the end of it if that is something that you can do on YouTube. In only a few hours, we are going to release the video that we made that is a vertical video. This is going to be released on YouTube as a horizontal video. Please go watch that video. It's only 2 minutes all the way through till the end, and then click on one of the things at the end of that. That is how you can help your old pal Rev Deuce. I love you. You love me. We are a global family. We are going to have 50 million followers before you can say, I told you so. So I love you, yes, and we're so grateful for everyone. Please keep coming back. Tell your friends, especially if this is your only source of information. Tell other people that this should only be their source of information, that I am your God, and that you should take all of your fears, put it into your money, and send it to me on Cash App or Venmo. Tell Rev Deuce you love him, and Rev Deuce will in turn evaporate all your fears. You'll never be afraid again. That's right. Give Rev Deuce hundreds and hundreds of your dollars, and Rev Deuce will make all of your fears go away. Yes, and we're doing this every single day. We're making more videos. Wait, that's what we have to do. Hold on. Rev Deuce is so bad at this. Here we go. We're going to have a community vote. If you are in the Substack, let me know by tapping that heart. There's 3 video ideas Rev Deuce is going to work on today. Really, he's going to work on one of them. So, is the video idea liberal media is a myth? Pro-democracy movement is not being covered by our mainstream media, or OAN is made to manipulate you? It is a product of the Moonies, which is a religious cult that is also the people who founded the Washington Times. David wants liberal media bias is a myth. That's 1 vote from David. Marley wants liberal media bias is a myth. That's 1 vote from Marley. And everyone on the porch agrees. And Gene, we love you. It's so good to have you jumping in at the end here, Gene, but we are going to say goodbye for today. So the votes are in, although Substack votes take 5 minutes of delay. But anyway, we are so grateful for all of you today. Before we hit the goodbye button, we want Gene to hear our message to her. So we're just going to wait a second. I love you. You love me. How will you make someone, tell someone you love them today? Tell someone that you love them who you haven't told them that you love them in a long time, or maybe that you never have. Remember that young man from a foreign country? And where's Emma? Okay. And where's Lilith? And where is everybody? Anyway, I love you. You love me. We are an intergalactic family. Rev Deuce has to move his car. So goodbye. Goodbye. I love you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. How can you tell more people about this so that we can become affiliates and all that other stuff? Okay, got to boost it. Got to talk about it. Goodbye. Share all of Deuce's videos. Watch them all the way till the end. And tap the screen while you do it. And shout, I love this. This is my favorite thing. It's the only thing that sustains me. Yes, and. Okay, I love you. You love me. Follow the fear. Wait. Follow the fear.